Well, Jamaicans were shocked at the sudden resignation of 4 PNP vice presidents plus PNP-YO President Crystal Tomlinson last week. Now, to shed some light on this, we've got PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell with us this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, Dr. Campbell.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. I know you've been doing the rounds. Dr. Campbell, what is happening inside your party? That's really the only place I can start. I know it's a broad question, but folks are concerned that the party is headed to a state of ruin. I know sometimes things have to break to be rebuilt, but what's going on?
Well, it was certainly unfortunate, the events that transpired on Friday. However, if you look at it in detail, though, 2 of the vice presidents had indicated in the morning that they were not going to offer themselves for re-election. So you have Comrade Crawford and Comrade Paulwell, who had indicated, as was carried in the Observer in the morning, that they were not going to offer themselves for re-election. Comrade Phillips had nominated and he withdrew that nomination. So essentially what happened is that there was a move to try and get some consensus around the 4 candidates, because we were trying to avoid an internal election, seeing that we are currently in the middle of preparations for an impending local government election. Those negotiations fell down. I thought what should have happened was that everyone should have gone back to the negotiation table and find an amicable way to resolve the issues. That happened, and we want to thank the comrades for the service they provided to the party at the officer level. But Jamaica should note that these individuals have not resigned from the People's National Party. They've only resigned from the positions of vice president, and in the case of Comrade Paulwell, chairman, and of course, Crystal from the leadership of the YO. And the leadership of the YO, that was also up. The tenure for the president was also pretty much at its end. And there have been 3 persons who have been campaigning to take over that spot. There are some concerns that were raised by the YO, and we have tried to assist them in resolving those. So I know to some it may seem as if the house is on fire, but it's an unfortunate situation, but we continue to work. And there is a place in the People's National Party for those persons. Somebody like Crystal certainly has a lot to offer. She's not at the end of her journey. At best, she's probably at the end of the beginning of her journey. And as the vice presidential candidates, certainly, if we're going to build a strong team, then we have to draw on the skill set of all members of the team. And they have something to contribute as well. They continue to be a part of the shadow cabinet. They continue to occupy different positions elsewhere in the party. And they continue to make...
Has he frozen?
Their contribution.
Okay, but let me ask you now. You said they haven't left the party, which is a good thing, but they've left the leadership roles. They've stepped down from the positions where they help to shape and to help lead the folks towards the future and building the party, which is a huge statement in itself, is it not?
Well, I would have preferred if they did not do that, if they had not done that. But I'm saying to you that 2 of them had already indicated that they were not seeking re-election. And to be frank, the negotiation was that we're trying to get to a consensus where you would have 2 persons who had supported Comrade Golden and 2 who did not.
Right.
So as was carried in the papers and on other media houses, that you would have had 2 new vice presidents either way, because you just had 2 of them that were not going back because of different reasons. Comrade Paulwell had been elevated to the post of chairman, so he could not have offered himself again for vice president. And Comrade Crawford had indicated to us from earlier that he wants to finish up his studies and to focus on his business during this COVID time.
Let me ask you a question, right? Because you're a doctor as well. You're used to going to the
Yes,
heart of the issue. And if you don't cauterize the heart of the issue, then your patient will likely not make it, right? This statement
absolutely.
says, despite all the reasonable efforts to broker a platform of unity, there were otherwise covert attempts to sabotage the goal of peace and harmony with a plan to hoard the available positions in line with previous public statements made by the leader, who pronounced a lack of trust for persons who did not support him in his campaign leadership and his preference to surround himself with only individuals who overtly endorsed his candidacy. As a doctor, how do you diagnose the issue raised in this statement? And is it a widespread issue that more people feel? And if leadership is at the heart of this issue, how do you fix this and when?
That's an unfortunate statement. It doesn't reflect what I know the situation to be. I assume that it was just written in the heat of the moment. And no malice is held towards anyone for that statement. The fact of the matter is this. If you're assessing the tenure of Mark Golding thus far, what he has done is that he has realized that in the People's National Party, and we have to be honest with ourselves, that we have some issues, and some of them are not new. We have some issues that have been lingering from previous internal contests. Somebody has said that a recognition of a problem is 50% of the solution. Comrade Golding has recognized that there are these issues lingering in the party, some as far back as 2006, when we had that presidential campaign, which was probably the first bitter contest in the party. And what he has done is to put a unity committee in place that took 3 members from the 2 candidates, and it then took into consideration some persons in the party who did not participate in that electoral process and thus would be seen as neutral, and some mediators and facilitators. And that in itself is the first time that a deliberate attempt has been taken like that by a leader of the party to resolve these issues. There has to be some truth and reconciliation sessions that are carried out, and these are issues that are not going to be fixed overnight. I want the public to know that we are committed to fixing these issues, but we are not trying to deceive them. We know that there's no quick fix, there's no panacea, there's no silver bullet. We are going to have to be committed and work hard towards fixing these issues to develop the level of trust, to develop the level of cooperation that is needed for us to function as an effective political party. And that is the commitment that we are making to our members and our supporters, that we are fully committed to that process, no matter how long or how painful it may be, for us to get to the point that we can have that level of cooperation and togetherness that is needed so that we can present ourselves as a formidable force.
How prepared are you for local government elections?
We are in the process of getting prepared. I won't go into some of the details here, but we are in the process of getting prepared for those elections. We know that they're going to be significant for us to try and regain some ground that we lost in the general election. And we have some good candidates. And all that I'm asking, and I'm using this platform to make a public appeal, all that I'm asking of our members and supporters is that we have some good candidates. It is true that division can cause us to lose elections. So let us not cause those candidates to have an unfortunate outcome based on internal rankings in the party. So let us give them an opportunity to present to the people their plans, to have a platform that there's a rising tide in the party that will lift all boats.
So what next? Next steps now. This has happened. We barely had a couple of days to kind of mull and process, but what are the immediate next steps for the party?
I think one of the things that need to take place is that there needs to be a meeting facilitated between all the current officers and the former officers of the party, and so that we can sit down as adults and have a frank discussion about some of these things, and to see how best we can have individuals feeling that their issues are heard and they can make their contribution. And once we facilitate that process and there is that space within the party, then I think we will be okay.
Stay safe, sir. Thanks for speaking with us this morning. God bless.
Thanks much. Have a good one.
Thank you. You
PNP
too.
General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell. Soon come. Much more on Smile. Stay with us, please.